Today I want to tell you about some people in our church. I am telling you their stories in order to paint a picture of this church family. Their stories become the color and the brush strokes on the canvas that captures the portrait of Collier Street United. I hope this painting will give you, who have been here for a very long time, a deeper understanding of who we are as a church family. I hope that it will give you who are newer, like William and David and others, a clear picture of who we have been and continue to be as a church family. I also hope that in painting this picture, all of us will connect in a new or re-energized way, either here in our church family or within the groups that we are part of, or in the wider family of God's people outside of this place. I hope that in looking at this picture of who we are, you will see yourself and you will hear God's call to you, that you will hear what God wants you to do and find the affirmation that you need to do it. So let me paint this picture. Let me tell you about Madeline Arcan. Madeline, who is 9 years old and in grade 5, was the leader of our affirmation of faith this morning that was written by our children. Madeline and her two little sisters, Gabrielle and Charlotte, are regular participants here on Sundays. They also participate in our Vacation Bible School and have been a part of our children's choir in the past. Since joining as members in 2009, their dad, Jason, has become an elder, and Mom Jen is a leader in our Sunday program and VBS. Madeline is a leader. Last fall, some of our children and youth worked on a drama that they presented in worship in December. Madeline participated in this with great seriousness and a sense of responsibility that she was delivering a message about God's love to the congregation. Not only did she learn her lines, she was able to articulate how she connected with the character she was to play. She got to tell the grumpy church woman that she needed to believe in the spirit of giving in her heart and pass it on to others. Madeline really believed those lines. She quickly became my co-director because of her insight into how things should be worded and how phrases should be emphasized. We have been referring to Madeline as the new Becca Kent. Becca is a young person who grew up in a variety of leadership roles here and now is away at university. Let me tell you about Allison Gross. Allison, who is 10 years of age and in grade 6, asked the leaders their promise questions this morning. She attends regularly with her parents, Mark and Cheryl, who became members in 2004, along with her little sister, Kate. She participates in Sunday morning program and VBS and has been a part of our children's choir and our drama and music group. Allison and her sister, Kate, love to serve at church dinners. They love working in the kitchen. Give her a plate of spaghetti and she can get it to the table like a pro. Give her a serving task and she does it with the biggest smile and the brightest of enthusiasm. Let me tell you about Sam Walkup. Sam, who is 14 years old and in grade 9, read the passage from Jeremiah. Sam, you were born just after I started my ministry here. I didn't know that before. He attends church regularly with his younger brothers, Evan and Max, and his parents. Sam's father, Kevin, confessed once that after they had been away from church for a number of months, that it was the boys who said, "Mom and Dad, we want to start going back to church. We miss it." In the past, Sam was part of our youth choir and has been in many of our pageants on Christmas Eve. Since joining as members in 2004, his dad, Kevin, has become an elder and a member of our ministry and personnel committee. His mother is a leader in our Sunday program. Sam is a great voice for the youth of our church, And he spoke about what this church means to him and his family on the occasion of our 175th anniversary last November. This is some of what he said. "Collier is my second home, and we all know that home should be a place where you feel comfortable, where you know you belong and you can talk to everyone, where you get hugs and you can give hugs. Ever since I've been coming to Collier, I have known it as a nice place to be a part of, where there's a nice feeling inside. It is always welcoming to new people as well as those who have been here a long time. Just being able to speak and share my thoughts with you reminds me that it doesn't matter how old you are, you can do whatever you want in church. I love all of the activities, but one of my favorite times is when we do things together as a church family." In his affirmation of faith in June, at the time of his confirmation, Sam wrote this: "I'm proud to be a part of this church and to have God be a part of my life. Confirmation has been a way to explore and learn more about my faith, and I am ready to become a member." Let me tell you about Emma Patterson. Emma, who is in grade 10 and is 15, read the scripture passage from James. Emma has been a part of this church longer than I have. Over the years, her mother, Leanne, has been a leader in our Sunday program, an elder, a member of our M&P committee. Her dad, Dennis, has been the gentle, supportive guy that they need in order to fulfill all of their many, many church commitments. And with their encouragement and asking, he jumps in just as they need him to. Emma's been a regular participant of our Sunday programs, and she's been a shepherd and an angel and a trumpeter, almost every role in our Christmas Eve pageant. She loves to lead in worship. She writes beautiful prayers. Last December, she was the spirit of giving in our Sunday drama, a most appropriate role as she believes deeply and passionately about making a difference in others' lives by giving her time, her possessions, and her respect to those who find they have very little of those things. She was one of the founding members of our Poverty Awareness Group, which now has the second year of our Thanksgiving weekend dinner and clothing giveaway. When Emma was confirmed in June, she wrote this as part of her affirmation of faith: "God lives in all of us, and we show it through our actions, our words, our character." Let me tell you about Carol Bartlett. Carol asked the children and youth their promise questions this morning. She became a member here in 1996. Her husband, Steve, became a most supportive and active adherent and supports Carol's volunteer roles and becomes a volunteer himself when encouraged to do so. She had been nurtured in the United Church her whole life by a mother who knew the difference a church family would make for her children as she provided a home for them as a single mom. Having known the love of a church family when Carol moved to Barrie, she found her way here. And during the celebrations of our 175th anniversary, Carol shared with us what this church means and still means to her. As I think back to the time I joined this church, I was very clear that I had a very busy life and would not be able to volunteer for any activities at Collier. Collier's response in welcoming me was, "That's okay, just come and sit in the pew and worship with us." Well, within a year, Carol somehow found herself volunteering at Vacation Bible School. And when her nieces were old enough, 4 and 5 years old, she started to invite them to come to Barrie to be a part of that week. Larissa and Lindsay are now 15 and 16, and for the last couple of years have been filling leadership roles. They have done so because they have watched their Aunt Carol care about her church, and in caring, make a difference by participating. Carol's church family has given her the opportunity to share her faith and her belief, not only with her nieces, but with so many other children over the years. Carol has been a leader and coordinator in our Sunday program since forever ago, as well as a Rainbows facilitator on Monday nights. Having grown up in a single-parent family, she knew the difference that that program would make for families experiencing the changes that come with divorce. In one Rainbows group, the participants got to talking about the churches they go to, and one little girl identified Collier as her church. The group leader, who was very active here, didn't recognize her from church and noted that she hadn't seen her here. The little girl noted that she attended the family dinner here on Sunday nights. Well, that family dinner at the time was the meal provided by Out of the Cold. So for her, this was still her church. The canvas is not big enough this morning to paint all of the portrait of us, for the brush strokes extend far off the canvas into places we might not even know. What we do know is that part of the painting captures a picture of a church family where children and youth are valued, where space is offered to community programs like Scouts and Rainbows, where an incredible difference can be made in the lives of so many families. It's a picture of a church where children and youth are invited to share their talents, either through creating a baptism font or a comfort quilt for those experiencing a death, or cards to seniors. It's a place where the ideas of children and youth are valued and taken seriously. They fundraise and they have fun while doing it. They serve at dinners, they share who they are, and they care for others in Rainbows. They participate in service projects in the city and in our church as Beavers, Cubs, and Scouts. They go out into the world, traveling to other countries to participate in mission and outreach awareness. They play piano and they sing and worship, even when they don't get every note right. I could go on, but I also want to admit that we're not perfect. There have been times when we have failed to see the face of Christ in children, when we have excluded them simply because of their age instead of their abilities. There are times when we have failed to provide leadership opportunities for them, even when they have asked for them. And we have questioned their presence sometimes. Sam said this at a worship service in June. When you are a child or a youth at church, it can be a challenge not knowing if you fit in or if you really belong, if your being here is really that important. Well, let me tell you something. We belong here. This is our church, now and forever. The youth and children at Collier have grown up feeling comfort and security. We have learned that if something needs to be done, if someone needs your help, don't ask, just do it. And that's a significant difference sometimes between younger people and most of us who have grown older. They look at the word impossible and instead see two words, I'm possible. They don't focus on what they can't do, but instead want to know what they can do. And thank goodness there are those of us who are older who think and live that way. Peter's 102-year-old grandmother went for a canoe ride one evening at the lake this summer. Why? Because her 7-year-old great-grandson and his 43-year-old dad asked her if she would, instead of assuming that she couldn't. And my 9-year-old son Pearson tried wakeboarding this summer for the first time and got up on his 3rd try. He's not the most athletic of kids. He's more like me and less like Peter. But because he's tried this at an early age, he will so exceed Peter's abilities on the wakeboard. For if you want to learn how to do something new, doing it when you're young is the best time to do it. Children and youth are not only hearers of the word, but they are doers. And learning to be doers at a young age will mean that skill will grow stronger throughout their life. So, how will you individually, how will your family, how will your group support and encourage the children and youth in our church? Well, maybe you'll choose the name of a leader on the list in the bulletin this morning and pray for them. Maybe you'll ask a young person to participate with you in a church group, or mentor a young person as they learn the ropes in the kitchen. Maybe you'll listen to their stories and accept their artwork for your refrigerator. Maybe you'll donate money so that they can go to camp or buy their scout uniform. Maybe you'll go to the barbecue, especially because the children prepared it. You'll bring your children to worship and to programs. Maybe you'll listen to their questions with respect and to look to them for answers to your questions. There is something that each and every one of us can offer to our ministry with children and youth. And if we are not sure what it is, then just stop to listen to what they have to say. Sam and Emma are going to read a statement made by United Church children that I keep at my office door as a reminder to me to listen.